conversation around women inclusion getting intense by the day and the call for more women to be given a chance, especially within the workspace, there have been a lot of backlash and a lot of counter opinion from people, especially the male folk within the society. And it's been simple. You said if you give a woman a chance, she gets to be career driven. Then there is an institution, especially in Africa here, that we hold into high esteem, which is marriage. Then the marriage will suffer, especially when it has to do with the home and also the child upbringing. So where do we go from here? And this is going to be the basis of our podcast today. Welcome to iMedia Podcast. This is the place where we discuss issues around business, family, society, and technology. My name is Shamsudeen Abdulrazak, and together I am with...
My name is Sherifat Yahaya. You're welcome.
Looking at what we have in the society currently, especially as regards the idea of the need not to give women a chance to work. If you give a woman the opportunity to work, she becomes, number one, not submissive in the home. The children are going to suffer. And at the end of the day, you have all these conversations coming. So from your own perspective, should a woman be given the opportunity to work?
Well, of course, every woman should be given the opportunity to work. Firstly, as a woman, and maybe as a young girl, and then later you got married, and of course you need to raise a family and then have kids and all that. But firstly, accepting the fact that as a woman or as a career woman, life is never the same as it used to be when you were still single. Life is never the same with kids and husband. It's very important in every woman's life because you can compare when you were single and on your own and when you're now married, that you know that you have responsibility of taking care of kids and family. Of course, every woman should work. Gone are those days when women are just being married to give are given the sole responsibility of taking care of the house. Of course, the men go out. That's always been the perspective. Yes. Yeah, a man should work. A man should be able to work and take care of the family and provide for the family's needs, while the wife should stay at home, take care of the kids. Of course, morally, emotionally, every kind of way to bring them up.
Yes, I think I agree with you that women should be given the opportunity to work also. So, but then, at what point in time do we now have a red line where we now say, okay, a woman should not be given the opportunity, or this woman, she's actually over dragging? Because if you look at it clearly, for the proponents of not allowing women to work, they have their own arguments, and their argument is that, okay, if we should give this woman the opportunity to work, even the workplace is not safe for the woman because you have cases of sexual harassment, for where the women face a lot of sexual harassment in the workplace. So they have to look at me. For me, myself, I wouldn't allow my wife to go to work under a man that would be saying, okay, you have to do this or do that. So some people detest that idea of saying, okay, I will have my own wife. Then she goes to office and there's one man there seated and will be giving her instructions. And at a point in time, if the man, men with ego, there's this idea of why will the man be giving my wife instruction? And at a point in time, some women will say, okay, fine, please, I have a tax I brought from the office. And the man will say, okay, who is now the leader? Is he your boss at work? That will now be dictating what is happening in my own house. So that kind of idea. So they will say, okay, for that reason, please resign. I don't want you to go anywhere to work with anybody. Yeah. Just sit down at home. If it is to cater for the family, I'll cater for that. Yeah. So, but then there have been another argument of saying, okay, fine. Personally, I grew up with a working class woman as a mother. So, and that didn't actually affect anything that has to do with the home. So when some of us that go through some of those experiences and say, okay, fine, I've had that worked, and that didn't actually affect our own upbringing. My mother was as strict as anything you can think of. She doesn't allow you to say, okay, you have a lagging time to say, okay, you are here not doing this. Our activities while growing up, we're already programmed. Yeah. So you're leaving from home to school. As you're leaving school, you're going to have lesson 2 to 4. From 4 o'clock, you're going to madrasa.
She had time for you guys.
So yeah, so that works, and this didn't also debar her to say, okay, she does why she can't get into a pinnacle of her career also. So this has actually I've seen it work personally. So, but that doesn't also want to. I wouldn't want to be engaged in generalization, because what works for me, what I've seen worked for me, might not have worked for 1,000 of other people. So, and with that, it's always good to be very open to the third parties conversation and see how, okay, what has worked for some people might not have worked for other people. So in that light, when you look at it and you say, okay, this is working for some other people, why is it not working for some other people?
Yeah, the thing is, there's a thin line between, a woman who wants to work and then just to assist the husband financially in the house, right? Just to contribute. Such kind of women, they can easily leave the job when the need arises, especially when it becomes difficult for them to take care of their home and then doing the job at the same time. Those kind of women, they can easily be managed by their husbands, because they just want to assist their husband. And the husband can just decide that, okay, fine, do not assist me again. I can take care of the family and all that. And then we have this career women who are career driven. They want to pursue their career to the last. And those kind of women, that's where the problem comes, that they find it hard to balance the two without one adversely affecting the other. And then some women also see it as competition between them. Okay, my husband is a doctor, me too. I want to be a doctor. I'm a lawyer too. Okay, you are a lawyer. I mean, you are a doctor. I'm a lawyer. How can you ask me to leave my career? And what about you? Yeah. So those are the things. That's where the problem comes, when women compete with their husbands, especially the career-driven women.
Yes, so because I am also looking at this from these aspects of it, because the woman will want to argue that, okay, my father spent his money to send me to school, so I can't come and listen to one man that will now tell me that I shouldn't work or I shouldn't do anything. So for me, if it is either I actually focus on my career or nothing. So, and that's where the idea comes of, okay, the marriage can wait. Yeah. Or for example, I'm not more even interested in marriage again, so let me just have a kid, raise my kids, and forget about anything around man. So, and we have this misogyny kind of idea where you say that women hate men, and they say, okay, fine, anything around marriage, anything around men. Yes. They don't like discussion around it.
They don't want to fall under the umbrella of one man
will be controlling them. So I understand that there's an idea of self-actualization, to feel fulfilled, to say, okay, I'm purpose-driven. Yeah. I want to do this. And I also like the idea of women coming out to say, okay, they are able to achieve a whole lot. But then also somebody who is a big fan of marriage and the marriage institution. Yeah. So no matter what, there shouldn't be anything that will trade the marriage or the sanctity of marriage for anything. So if there are issues around the fact that, okay, yes, what should the man do? What should the woman do? The right and responsibility of a man and a woman is clearly and explicitly being discussed, depending on the religious value anyone professes. And when you want to say, okay, in the African society also give that precedence to say, okay, fine, the woman is expected, no matter what, to be submissive to the husband. So irrespective of whether you work in a multinational company, you work as somebody who works maybe for yourself or for some people. The idea is some people, they don't even work for maybe a company or this thing. They work for themselves. But yet the idea of, okay, I'm making my own money. When the man start feeling threatened is when he feels that, okay, this woman is making more than I do. And with that, and the woman too, if she's somebody who is not that understanding, I feel, okay, I'm making money more than the husband. So this man cannot come and tell me, control me what to do. So in that light, so the man feels, okay, fine, if this is not working for us, why not everybody parts? So I think for me, to profile solutions to that, there is a need for understanding between the both parties, and the marriage should always reign supreme beyond any frivolous personal agenda. yes, the marriage should always reign supreme. Everybody should give it their last fight and make sure that, okay, fine, this works. For me, what is worth doing is worth doing well. So if you must go into marriage, you must give it your all and make sure it will make it work.
I think I agree with you on that, Shams. And just like you said earlier, understanding. When two couples understand each other, I mean, I think the institution will be easier for them. Everything, the affairs will be easier for them. Understand that, okay, your wife has a career, you married her as a graduate. There should be an understanding between both of you. Okay, understand that your wife works, she has a career to pursue. Of course, if she's not letting that career take control of her head, of everything about neglecting the family, you can support her. The husband needs her support, and likewise the wife needs the husband's support. Now, where the problem comes is when the woman is trying to like balance it, and then she doesn't know how to do it. She tries to like, okay, I want to like make my family a priority first, and then while doing that, it's affecting her work. And then in the office too, I want to meet the deadline. I want to meet up with work. I want to meet up with so thing at work so that I'll get this promotion and all that. And that too will also affect.
Yes, I understand that, but I've also seen a situation whereby the wife she goes to work and she had some other external things she do, and the man, he's now at some point in time he's the one that babysits. So he babysits the children, he takes care of them, he does everything. You know, I once heard of a particular story that was being said, you know, some of these things, and somebody said it categorically that as we are here in Nigeria, we should be more conscious of some things, because when things sweep and they go the other way, a lot of things happen. Yeah. You know, especially in this Japa season and everything, and people want to just say, I just want to travel abroad, I want to do this. Then, so there was a story that was told of a couple who left Nigeria, and the woman was one that got a PhD admission. So she's studying overseas, and you know, over there are laws of gender equality and all that. So, and the man doesn't go anywhere because they are both married and they already traveled. So the man stays back at home and the lady goes to study. So at that particular time, there was a particular time they wanted to have an assignment, and the lady said, please, I can't join you for this assignment because my husband is at home and I have to go cook for my husband. And all the classmates, they took it upon themselves and said, okay, no, this lady is being marginalized. This lady is going through a lot of emotional trauma and all that. Why should a man sit back at home and be the one to you yourself? It's a free world for men, and is a world of equality whereby the man and the woman have the same rights. So if you are here, the main purpose of you coming to our country is to work. Is to study. So your husband should be, irrespective of what he's doing in our country, should be able to feed himself, should be able to cook for himself. They took it up, and it wasn't a joke anymore. The husband had to be arrested, that because he has actually been psychologically that has psychologically affected the woman's brain. So there were a lot of issues around that. So that brings to the fore the question of, okay, what are the bases at which marriage stands on? What are the things that we understand as some of the bedrock of this thing? Because as the world becomes global, so people are now losing what is right and what is wrong. Because you can be in Nigeria here, the laws of Nigeria gives you the opportunity to say, okay, fine, the man, irrespective of what happens, is still the leader of the house, and everything goes. So he, irrespective of whether he provides for the family or not, he's the leader. But when you go somewhere else, it's an equal world whereby it is everybody brings everything to the table. Yes. So if you don't bring anything, or you are not coming up as it's supposed to be, you'll be the man. Okay, there are some times whereby some people have located abroad, whereby the woman is the one that goes to the work. The man sit back at home and babysits the children.
Well, that's where understanding comes in.
So when those issues come and you raise some of these issues, then you now look at it that, okay, at what point in time do we now look at these issues? Because it is a very dicey issue.
Yes.
Because it's not a one-off conversation that you say, okay, fine, this thing is a wrong thing and people should not talk about it, or it is, before now it is either a no that a man must be the one to work and the woman stay back at home, and anything the man brings is what fits the family. Now times have changed, conversation around this has changed, and women are now saying, okay, look, even if I'm working, you are feeding the family, your money is our money, then my own money that I'm making from my own work is my personal money. So irrespective of what happens at the end of the day, I am the one that does it, and you are the man, and you are to do this. The man also don't get fine. If that's the case, you're not more working. Sit back at home. Anything I bring will use for the family.
Use for the family. Yes.
So let's look at ways at which we can now manage the home.
Yeah.
So what are the solutions, especially for a career woman?
Yes. For a career woman, if you must work, and your husband too, if you must work alongside with your husband, there are certain things that you need to put in place in order to balance that thing, even though as difficult as it may seem, because it's not all men that believe that you can balance the home and your work. It's not all men that believe that. In fact, majority of men don't believe that a woman working. I mean, if your wife is working and with the family, she can balance the equation. It cannot work. One must suffer while the other, in order to get the other right. But the thing is, like I said earlier, it all boils down to understanding. Fine. You as a woman, you need to set priorities. If you must work and also have a family too, set priorities. Set an outline, stating the list of important things that you need to do. Leave work where work is and come to your family. When you get home, take care of your family, take care of your kids. Especially your kids, they need your attention, because this is where we get situation about, okay, that you leave your kids in the hands of a house help. You don't know her background, you don't know, or you know less of her background and all that. And then it's also, even if you do that, when at work, you will still want to think, what is my child going through?
Yes.
What is she going through right now? What kind of moral is she getting from the help? Her babysitter.
Yes.
What kind of attitude is she getting from them? Is she beating? Is she crying? Is she beating her? Is she feeding her well? That too can affect you at work, psychologically, and it can affect your work output too. So as a mother, I advise that we should, as a mother and a career woman too, you should set your priorities right. When you're at work, focus. Fine, if you could be lucky to have a good household that can take care of the home. Of course, maybe someone from your family background, very well, you trust, not really 100%, but you trust that, that can take care of a family, you can have that. And then, sometimes again, they're like, okay, I'll go and get a house help, and then I'll leave my house help with my husband at home. Because especially when the husband closes in time and gets home before the wife, that's another problem too. Because a lot of things have happened these days. A lot of house help snatching husbands from their madam. At the end they become the madam, and then because you are career driven, you end up losing your marriage to a house help who is just probably did not even go to school, or just secondary school dropout, and also why? Because she takes care of the house. She takes care of your kids, takes care of your husband, both in the kitchen and otherwise too. You don't know. So just like I said earlier, leave work where work is. When you're at work, focus on your work. When you get home, leave work and focus on your family. Get your children's attention. Ask questions. Even if, of course, ask questions. Even if you leave them with a help that you trust, still ask questions. What happened to them in school? What happened to them at home while you were away? attend to your husband's needs. Also make out time for family get together, have dinner together. That to create bonds.
Yeah, so
family
I think
bonds.
that I would like to stress more on that, especially when you talk about the idea of making out time. So the woman, an average a career woman can set a priority of, okay, maybe a 3:30 or a 4 a.m. thing. Now woke up. So anything that has to do with house chores, she can do that. So if you are somebody who lives in Lagos, who have to beat traffic and all that, so you know that maybe by 5:30 you're already on your way out to know. And if you're in an Abuja or other city that you know that, okay, even a 7 a.m. or a 6:30 will do, so you'll be able to set out and you'll be able to do that. And maybe max 6, 7, max 8 o'clock you're back at home. So with that, you're able to say, okay, fine, our dinner is like a ritual. So everybody must be available for dinner. So that might be a time for you to bond with the family, to ask questions and discuss, okay, this is what happened in my workplace today. This is what we experienced. Oh, this is what my boss did. So you are using that experience to actually shape the understanding of the children, and also trying to use it to bond with the husband, so they'll know that, okay, fine. So at every point in time, everybody knows that, okay, we have a family time, which is maybe 7:30, and everybody is going to be at home. We are going to take dinner together. So that way you are able to bond. And when you have weekends, so weekends might be a time to say, okay, fine, we have to set aside a Sunday to say, okay, fine, we want to go and bond, and maybe we're going out to a get together, or we want to go and see a family together. So this way you are able to create that bond, and you're able to manage it in such a way that you have. So for me, everything is planned, and you already know that, okay, fine, you already know that what are the real. If a woman wants to pursue a career and she also wants to manage a home, so for me, it's for her to sit down and look at what is. A lot of people always argue that what is people should be able to differentiate what is permanent and what is temporary. So no matter what, if you are in a civil service, your career is not going to last more than 35 years. After 35 years or 40, as the case may be, you retired. So what happens? You come back to the family. So most times, a lot of people, they retire and they don't get a family to fall back to. So because maybe they're at one point in time, they've divorced, and what happens after retirement and everything, the children, even when they have children, sometimes what happens? The children are already married and the children are already living their own life, but then they don't have a partner to actually live with. And that's why some people always fall into the scam of somebody saying he wants to come and fill the emotional gap, thereby defrauding them. So in such a way that anyone that works for anybody, but in layman terms and in something that is workable, is the fact that people should be able to prioritize and know what is permanent and what is temporary. So the work itself is temporary, no matter what, but marriage is permanent. So the moment you sign up for it, it is till death do us apart. So when you know that, and you know that, okay, fine, this is it, then you now be able to prioritize and now say, okay, fine, what are the work schedule? These are my work schedule. Okay, I need to maybe clean the house, I need to get the baby ready, I need to prepare them for school, I need to do that. What are the things that ordinarily can be outsourced? So because it is not everything that you say, okay, I want to outsource it. So if it's something that can be outsourced, you okay, fine, we are bringing somebody to come and help us do this. But if it is not something that can be outsourced, you just make sure that, okay, fine, you need to just maybe reduce your sleeping time and say, okay, fine, every day I need to wake up. And if it becomes a routine, it becomes something that is part of you, and you don't see it as a challenge anymore. You are able to take care of a family, and you're able to take care of this. And for anybody who wants to also pursue a career, one thing that is also important is there is opportunity for remote working. If you are a tech cis, you can be working for a Google company and you work remotely. You don't need to go to the office every day. So technology is also helping in such a way that you can be in your home, yet you are not going anywhere, but then you are actually living that dream, that career thing you actually wanted to be. So you can have that. So I think the only restrictions to not having a particular a successful marriage as a career woman is the self-ingrained thoughts in you that you say, okay, no, I don't want to give down to this man, or I don't want to do this. So those are some of the thoughts that might actually lead to that.
Yes, I agree with you. And talking about technology, some couple misuse the
Yeah.
use of technology or that advantage,
Yes.
because there are some families like, okay, you get back from work, you're at home, which you know that, okay, you're supposed to have time for your family. But you see couple, both of them holding their phone, pressing their phone, no one is talking to each other, everybody is surfing the night.
Yes.
And then the kids comes, need your attention, you're not there to give them that attention. Okay, mommy, I want to talk to you, go and meet your dad. Daddy, I want to talk to you, go and meet you. No time, you don't even know what's happening in your husband's life, what's happening to him mentally or emotionally. Your likewise, the husband doesn't know what's happening to you. Like you base on your time on technology, and this is where you need to take a break when you're at home. Take a break from technology. As much as we know that yes, technology helps in our communication and information, and it's not easy to just stay away from it permanently. But you need to create time. To create time for yourself and take time away from technology.
I agree with that 100%, because one thing that technology does is it has there's what we call addiction, and when it comes to addiction, the part of the brain that secretes this thing, which is called dopamine. So that dopamine continues to secrete, and it's what leads to, that's one of the symptoms of addiction. Okay. So when you are used to a particular thing, that part of the brain will continue to secrete more cells, and it's continue to make it to be addicted to that particular thing because you're already used to it. So one thing that makes you to say, okay, fine, I am not, and that way you can't be focused. And at every point in time, you just want to be flipping the screen. At some point in time, it's not necessarily that you are actually working online. So sometimes you are not working online, and for everything, I believe that some things can wait. If you get home maybe by 6, 7 and everything, and you have messages or anything to reply to, I believe they can wait till possibly the next morning. Yes. So if it means for you to wake up maybe at 5 to 6, you're able to reply to those messages and do that. But the idea of detaching for close to maybe at least an average of 9 to 12 hours a day, detaching away from technology will help your awareness, because a lot of times we've lost human connections. We are in the same house, the woman is sending a text message to the husband that your food is in the kitchen. So the man is also responding back that, okay, the baby has pooped, please come and take her. So instead of the normal human communication, we're not having that again. So technology is taking that, and that's why you feel that you see people who are, maybe they go out for a 2-hour conversation, and out of that 2 hours conversation, the only time they get to bond together might just be 10 to 20 to 15 minutes. The remaining close to about an hour plus is everybody is just flipping through the screen. And yes, so it makes some people to lose that, to have low self-esteem. They can't communicate with people with confidence, but they have the confidence to actually press anything they have on phone and all that. So beyond that, I think the way, in as much as technology has actually come to help us, for us to be able to be self-aware and to be present in the lives of our loved ones, we need to be able to reduce our screen time. We need to reduce technology, the use of technology as regards maybe communication. So I believe that technology or anything that has to do with the phone, messages and everything, emails can wait. So when it's time for the home, let's make the home home. And when it is time for the family and the work itself, so we should be able to prioritize that. Yes. So many thanks for watching today's episode of iMedia Podcast, and we've been discussing managing a home as a career woman, and I believe you've gotten value from this video. Let's get to know your thoughts about this and how far or how best you feel that as a career woman or a career woman can manage the home effectively. Many thanks for watching today's episode. My name is Shamsudeen Abdulrazak.
My name is Sherifat Yahaya.